This could happen to anyone. The Beaverton Loop is a model for how we can make high traffic areas more welcoming for people who are getting around without cars. I walk a lot myself. I walk in Oregon, I walk in Washington, D.C. We need our streets and our sidewalks to be safe for pedestrians. So I'm very excited to get a $4 million grant or funding for the community project here with the Beaverton Loop. It's called Community Project Funding. Senators Merkley and Wyden, my partners in the Senate, also helped get this over the finish line, and I know it's going to make a big difference for the community. The process was community-driven at every step. I appreciate the engagement of the Loop Community Advisory Council as they provide expertise to help make this project one that meets the community's needs. And I want to note, my office is very close to here, so we're very familiar with the need to connect all of Beaverton. The focus is on walking, biking, and transit priorities to improve access and mobility, linking these locations and making it easier for people to enjoy our local businesses. It's a winning combination that benefits everyone. We need more projects like this throughout the region. I want to note that I have been concerned about pedestrian safety since long before my injury. I also secured funding to improve pedestrian crossings and sidewalks on Hall Boulevard in Tigard and met with the family of a woman who was killed at that site. Also got funding for Warrenton High School and near Warrenton High School in Clatsop County. That community's been trying for a long time to improve safety for students and educators walking to the school there. And I'm also grateful that the bipartisan infrastructure law that I helped pass in the last Congress is bringing funds to Oregon to advance equity and improve pedestrian safety. And I know this is a priority of Secretary Milton as well. So this is a meaningful start to making our roads, crosswalks, and sidewalks safer. It's in addition to a $2 million raise grant that I advocated for earlier to help with the planning process for the loop. So I'm committed to continuing to build on this important work, and I'm very excited to have the mayor here today. I'll introduce Mayor Lacey Beaty, who's been a tireless champion for this project and for Beaverton. Mayor?
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. As you could tell from the noise and the cars and the bustle, we are standing at a very busy intersection, which is driving a lot of the work we're doing down here. First, thank you, Congresswoman, for inviting me to share a few words. And those first few words should be thank you. On behalf of Beaverton, we are grateful for your investment in our community. We know there are limited resources for the Community Projects Award, and we feel so honored that you chose us. The loop spans 20 blocks in our downtown core. It goes from our brand new Patricia Research Center for the Arts at the north end and our city library and soon to be future home of affordable senior housing projects on the south end. It's 1.3 miles with 2 state highways crossing it. And it will link destinations through wider sidewalks, protected bike lanes, pedestrian crossing, and enhanced bus stops. Our goal is to emphasize safety while supporting climate-friendly transportation. They're important investments because the central Beaverton neighborhood has been historically disenfranchised and overlooked. We are developing this in tandem with the Downtown Equity Strategy, a new city initiative that the City Council formally adopted in November. The equity strategy promotes inclusion and prevents displacement while centering racial equity in decision-making at its core. With the $2 million raised planning grant from DOT, which by the way, Beaverton was only one of 3 in the state to be awarded one. So that was a monumental project that our staff and everyone worked on. Coupling that with the Congresswoman Bonamici's gift for a demonstration project really puts this project in line for future federal funding and really takes the work from dreaming about a project to reality. Making our downtown safe and comfortable place for all people is a priority to me and my colleagues on the City Council. The Loop is a complete street approach to making and reimagining this critical connection for people in our community. With that, I'd like to thank the Congresswoman, and I hope you guys get a chance to walk around and see the businesses and see what we're trying to do here. This is Beaverton's #1 priority right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for your leadership and for being with us today. Next, I'm going to introduce Ben Reese, who's the owner of Lionheart Coffee and a member of the Loop Community Advisory Council. Ben?
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Congresswoman Bonamici. Thank you, Mayor Beaty. Thank you to City Council and my fellow Beaverton Loop Committee matrons. 8 years ago, my wife and I chose to, on a literal shoestring, open up our small business in South Beaverton, knowing that this community and the city was focused on bringing a full community together. Through our shop, we use coffee to build a community. Shortly after about 5 years of being open there, the city introduced us to a project right in the middle of downtown Beaverton. We saw that they were committed to helping out small minority-owned businesses to grow and flourish in an area that had a bright future ahead of it. We are here on the corner of Watson and First. We get to see the First Street Dining Commons flourish on Saturdays with the Saturday Market. We get to see folks in the evenings going from business and restaurant to restaurant, going on crawls with friends. We see so much happening here that's just amazing, and the growth is just unbelievable. But there is definitely some challenges that come with the added growth, with more traffic of cars and more pedestrians, with lack of lighting. We have even seen a pedestrian get hit right here at this intersection, which I'm sure hits close to home. Safety has definitely been a concern for ourselves, our customers, and other folks within this community. I was invited to be a part of the Beaverton Loop Committee and be involved with these critical conversations about safety, but also really enhancing what is here and what is here to grow. We were invited to walk along the Beaverton Loop many times and kind of take photos and notes of the different assets that this beautiful city has. The big thing was the disconnect between downtown Beaverton and central Beaverton, where the new Performing Arts Center is, other great restaurants and small businesses as well. And we also have our own customers that want to be more involved, and they actually need to discover that area. The Beaverton Loop is committed to not only connecting these two parts of Beaverton together, but also making it as safe as possible. My daughter and I, we used to ride our bike a lot during the early days of the pandemic, right along First. She went to St. Cecilia for pre-K, but as traffic increased, it became unbelievably unsafe. We had to be ready to bail from cars at any given notice with no protected bike lanes. I'm really proud of the focus that the city has for creating safe structure for both pedestrians, bicyclists, and also with a lens of environmental consciousness for public transportation. I want to thank you, Congresswoman Bonamici, for this monies for this project, and I really look forward to what's to come here in Beaverton. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben. And let's hear it for our small businesses here in the Beaverton and around the state. Next, we're going to hear from Rachel Phillip, a Beaverton resident and a member of the Loop Committee Advisory Council. Rachel.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Phillip. I'm a central Beaverton resident. I live about 10 minutes away from here, and I'm a parent of 2 little kids. Thank you, Congresswoman and Mayor, for your dedication to this project. The Loop and projects like it that prioritize walking and rolling are vital for so many reasons. Some of those reasons are easy to measure. We know cars are one of the leading causes of death for children in our country. We know cars contribute to global pollution and global climate change. We know that slowing down cars reduces deaths and injuries. But the Loop is also going to provide other less measurable but still very real benefits to this community. The first is the benefit of independence and belonging that comes when children can explore the community and that they're safe to walk and roll there. There's the benefit of spontaneous connection when you run into your neighbors, because your neighborhood is somewhere where your community can be rather than a place to just drive through. There's the benefit and of the pride we will take when we're able to support our small businesses and when it feels safe to cross Canyon and Farmington. When we don't have to be concerned about our young children or our elders crossing those intersections. And then there's repairing a community that's currently cut in half by those 2 roads. So for all these reasons, I'm extremely excited and grateful for this loop project, and thankful for the attention that Congresswoman Bonamici and Mayor and City Council have provided. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Very much appreciate all of you for being here today. And now I'd like to invite the mayor to step out in front, and I will present the city of Beaverton. This one's not real, but you can see this is a $4 million check for the community project funding for the Beaverton.
We think this is real. That's all that matters.
This one is.
We do have a small token from the city council as well. Since your office is in our loop, we want to make sure that our project stays front and center.
We will put this up in the office, for sure.
So when we come back and ask for more, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Thank you, Mayor. That's great. Thank you. I'll hand this over to my staff. We will keep that front and center. We're open to questions. We'll still start with questions about the loop.